So Jonny probably came to bed. It was probably like 3:30. It wasn't that late. And I woke up.
Night, kind of,
I woke up briefly when he came upstairs. And then, but then I went right back to sleep. Then I woke up around 5:30 a.m. And I won't say, and I actually didn't wake up. I was woken up by the feeling of liquid on my face.
Hot stream of piss time.
Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast. I'm Jackie Agnew.
I'm Jonny DeVito.
I'm Ty Wasano. King, how we feel today?
Oh boy.
I mean,
let's get right into it.
Let's start. Like, subscribe, do all the stuff. Share us. How you doing? Thanks for coming back. If this is your first time, you picked a doozy to join us on Show Me Yours.
Just a little pre-phaser. They walked in to the studio here, and they're like, "We got a story for you." And I was like, "All right." Like, we're not talking about it until we get on this. So I am
we're looking
bursting out the seams
we're looking for. We needed to catch your reation on camera because it's pretty insane.
So I'll set the scene here first because this all starts, I'd say 10 years ago, Ty. I hate my job and I live for the weekend. You know what I mean? So by the time Friday comes around, my boss makes mention of a couple beers about 6 months ago. It's common on a construction site for, if a trade's going to help out another trade, let's not get like money involved into it. I'll buy you some beers, whatever, you know what I mean? And they can use like a piece of our equipment, whatever, right? So they were supposed to buy us a case of beer 6 months ago and they brought us like an 8-pack. So I've been calling this guy Dino a cheap piece of shit for like 6 months now. And he delivers on the 8-pack, like the other half of this case of beers that he promised. It was supposed to be a 15er. So this 8 beers comes around and my boss is like, fuck, let's knock off for like 2:30. You know what I mean? Start, crack a couple beers. So I got a little Eggs Benedict in my belly. I'm feeling like I got a decent little base here.
Probably from Ricky's.
It's Friday. I'm no stranger to a couple drinks, and I know that me and Jackie have made an agreement that we're gonna have a couple drinks as well. And I got a show tonight, so I'm already I'm feeling good. But what I don't realize, Ty, is that I'm an old man now.
Yeah.
And I can't do these marathon drinking things. So Jackie picks me up after I've already had like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
We get in the car. We get down this awesome rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I was prime the engine a little bit.
Yeah. Went to the liquor store.
Got more beers. Came back. Realized I already had beer in the fridge. So I'm like, we're
darn.
up.
Yeah. No. What are you gonna do?
Let's get to work.
Yeah.
Right? And we got to work. We went down a fantastic rabbit hole of all things 90s.
I was thinking it was like
3 Doors Down, Goo Goo Dolls. We were listening to all kinds.
It was close to like 5 hours. We were jamming out to early 2000s rock /pop punk.
It was a lovely afternoon.
It was a really great time. Yeah.
It was so much fun. So then friend of the show, Dane Becker from Die Job picks me up in an Uber. Probably already got 8 beers in me. And then we're going to Redgate, fantastic Vancouver punk rock venue, to see some fantastic bands. Digression was fucking great. Blacked Out is always amazing. Pilsnar was great. So we're getting very festive. You know what I mean? We got a guest later, G-Tone. I don't know. I imagine this episode's probably going to come out first. Are we going to want to hit the streets immediately with this one? But however this works anyway. So I'm outside. I'm having drinks. And there's a guy like, hey, are you Jonny DeVito? I'm coming on your show or whatever, right? So it was a good time of meeting people, making friends. A lot of hugs.
It's a Jonny DeVito sort of evening.
It's a Jonny
DeVito special.
Everything. I'm having a great time. We're dancing. Me and Dane are moshing in a pit and stuff. It's like an all-ages show. The scene is in good hands. There's a lot of young kids running around, which is like a cool vibe. I'm talking to this guy in a Casualties t-shirt. I thought he was like a cross punk, and he's like, yeah, I brought my kid here and shit. And I was like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? It was a cool, good vibe. I am destroyed by the time that we get out of there. I think I end up getting home at like 1:30. So now I've been drinking for like 11 hours straight. And I immediately go straight to YouTube and I go down like another music rabbit hole. Probably have, there was a lot of beers on the coffee table this morning. I probably had about like 3 or 4 more or something like that. drank until about
You're out.
3:30.
I'm out. So I stayed in, and I probably, because by the time Jonny left, like I was like, we were pretty fucking drunk because we had been drinking, listening to music for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so I was really drunk, and I ended up ordering food and eating all of it or most of it. And so then I was super drunk and super full, and so I was out by like before midnight. I was out cold. Yeah.
So I remember
That's a good night.
like
Yeah,
I mean, and granted, like after like 12 hours of drinking, I was definitely very intoxicated, but I was like looking at the clock, and I have every memory of me being like, oh shit, it's a little late, let's fucking I have 2 fucking podcast episodes, and I'm like, it's 3:30. Like I'm acknowledging how drunk I am and how rough the morning is gonna be. So I turn the TV off, crack a bong toke, shut the lights down, go upstairs, the oven's off, everything's safe, right? And that's where I'm going to check out of the story
Yeah.
because I don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
That
So
happened. So, or no, hold on, maybe, and also the last thing that I'll say is that I woke up at 9 a.m, and on a Saturday we like to sleep in as much as we can before we come do the show. It gets pretty bright in our room, like the way that we kind of have the blinds situated with our air conditioner and stuff. So the lights kind of coming in a little bit heavy, and at 9 a.m. Jackie gets out of bed, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like she likes to, sleep in or whatever. I was like, we should get after it or whatever. And I was like hungover, so I'm like, I'm gonna go down to the couch, crack a couple bong tokes, get ready for the episodes. And I come downstairs, and Jackie's got this look on her face, like, what the fuck, dude? And babe, take it away.
yeah. So Jonny probably.
Oh, I got wheels are spinning.
Yeah. So Jonny probably came to bed. It was probably like 3:30. It wasn't that late. And I
for
woke
Friday
up.
night, kind of,
I woke up briefly when he came upstairs. And then but then I went right back to sleep. Then I woke up around 5:30 a.m. And I won't say, and I actually didn't wake up. I was woken up by the feeling of liquid on my face.
Hot stream of piss time. Hot stream.
And like when something wakes you yeah, when like something wakes you up, you kind of slowly wake up and you're like, what is that? This was not like that. I immediately woke up and knew that I was getting pissed on. I was getting pissed on. Immediately like woke up and hopped out of bed and was like, what the fuck, dude? And he was out cold. And the way we were sleeping, like I was like turned away from him and he was turned on his side towards me. So he was on his side pissing. And so I have no idea, like there was some arc action where it went up and over.
The kid's impressive.
He's doing work, man.
Okay. It's not as bad. First of all, I was like, there's definitely going to be some sort of bodily fluid involved.
They call me Bubble Boy. Something's going to happen.
Oh, you Bubble Boy? Okay, I thought you were like straight up like standing over her.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. Yeah, that would have almost like made more sense though, because
For
like
sure, yeah. So you think you're in a dream, so they go up.
Yeah, but so
you're not getting up.
No, I just
but
pissed
so
the bed.
well he did get up.
I pissed the girlfriend.
Yeah, and so I immediately like hopped out and I was like, what the fuck? And then he was like, what? And I was like, you pissed on me, dude. And and he was like, but then he gets out of bed. So I'm like, okay, he's awake. He knows what's going on. So I am in the bathroom and I'm fucking washing my face because it's covered in piss.
Sterile.
Yeah. And then
It's mostly beer anyway.
and then I realized like he's not in the bathroom, and so I look out and he is fucking standing in front of our air conditioner, underwear down like around his ankles, and I was like, oh my god, what are you doing? And then he got mad at me and he was like what? I'm over here. And I was like, dude, like you have to go to like the fucking like toilet or whatever. And he was like, I'm so confused. And then I fucking have to grab him and like direct him to the toilet, and then he immediately
you lead him by the cock.
Yeah.
Pinch him off.
But then I direct him to the toilet, and he immediately like is pissing in the toilet. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, there's gonna be piss everywhere in the morning. No, they're not even on the floor, which he always gets piss on the floor. There's
that's gonna make it matters worse at this point. Actually,
I know it's pretty fucked up.
it's like his aim was spot on, which seems nefarious.
Wait a second. You
Stone
telling me
cold
Mr.
sober.
Magoo could get up, piss on my face, not
Yeah.
gonna drop anywhere else?
Yeah, and so then like as he's pissing in the toilet, I'm like, fuck, and I like take the top sheet off, and obviously the bed is soaked in piss. But then he immediately like he goes pee, and then he goes back into bed and lies right on top of his puddle of piss.
Give the old Fred Durst. You don't leave it till you sleep on the piss stick.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, well, I'm not fucking going back to sleep on his piss. And so I find these other sheets from the closet, but he's already asleep, so I can't change the sheets. So I just kind of lay them down over my side, and then I go lie down on top of them, put my head on the pillow. The pillow's wet. Yeah. So I fucking toss that pillow off the bed, get another one, put the blanket on. The blanket's wet. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I went downstairs and got another blanket. And like, I obviously was up for a while after that. And he kept he like wasn't awake this whole time, right? And so he kept trying to fucking put the blanket back on me, and I kept being like, dude, no. Babe,
just snuggle up. Come on, babe.
I just want to cuddle.
Yeah. And then like and I probably fell back asleep like maybe for an hour, and then woke up and went downstairs, and then Jonny comes downstairs. I hear him moving up there, and I was like, here we fucking go.
I had no idea. I was like, what a lovely morning.
Turns around in his swivel chair like a Bond villain with gnocchi in her right. So, Mr. DeVito. You think you'll piss on my face, will you?
I just wasn't expecting it at all. Like, I thought it was just a lovely morning, and I was like, I don't feel that bad. Like, relatively, like, you know what I mean? I thought I was going to feel a lot worse. Like, what's up, babe? How you doing?
No, you literally went and got water from the fridge, and I was just staring at you the whole time. Like,
oh, more liquid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm staring at you the whole time, like, trying to figure out in my head, like, does he know what happened? And then, like, he's, get water, like, drink some water, and looks at me, and I'm just staring at him, and then you give me a thumbs up.
Did I?
I was like, do you remember peeing last night?
So funny.
I hit you with the thumbs up. Like, I'm okay. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good.
Hey. Just looking at me. I was like, do you remember pissing last night? And he was like, no. He was like, where'd I piss? And I was like, on my face.
Oh,
wow.
It was the wildest. And like, babe, I love you. Like, you've been so cool about this morning. Like, this is the wildest.
Dude.
This is the wildest thing.
That's the other thing, is that this morning that happened, and like I'm trying to be nice about it. I like fucking wash the sheets, whatever. And then you are like all hungover and being like acting like shitty or whatever. And I'm like, how come it is that I'm the one that got woken up with piss on my face, and you're the one acting like a dick this morning?
I didn't mean to. I was so ashamed. Like, I was thinking about a lot of things. Like, I was really going through it emotionally, because I didn't really know how to handle myself. Like, there's a fun story in my family. You know what I mean? My uncle, kind of notorious for shit in the bed. He'll there's multiple stories that his wife might tell around a campfire that the punchline is, "Oh, Danny, you shit the bed again." So he's getting into an argument with my pops one time, and my dad gives him shit, like, because it gets a little bit deeper than I'm willing to divulge right now. But my dad just looks him in the face and he goes, "Hey man, I had a rough go of it, but I never shit the bed." And that's always like a thing in the family, is like, you know what I mean? If you can't, as long as you keep that together, you're okay. And I'm like one step away, from doing that. But just the fact that
I thought you might have Frank Reynolds for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I thought you made me poop the bed.
Collateral damage. I may, you know what I mean? It could have happened, but it hasn't yet. And you know what I mean? I'm super stoked about that. But just like the crossfire situation, all the collateral damage, and
Yeah,
you know what I
mean the
Like,
piss on the face.
You
was
never want to
wild.
hurt the one that you love.
I got kicked out of a hostel with like a group of dudes one time in Brazil, because it was like we all talked about, like, has anybody ever pissed the bed or that, and we were just getting, like, just drinking cachaça like fucking nonstop, getting just blackout on this shit. And then like, it was like a dorm room with like 5 dudes, and every single one of us pissed the bed that night. It was just a fucking leaking of piss from bunk beds.
God.
We thought there was
my
a leak,
God.
and we were like literally like we totally like manifested it.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
that is
It's insane.
hilarious. Yeah, I mean, like it's just the way that it happened, because like. If not for the hitting my face, it probably would have just been like woke up in the morning like, what the fuck?
See, now you're at a
like,
risk of peeing at that point though, because you're like
right,
hot
'cause
water
you're
hits you,
soaking in
you're
it.
sleeping.
That's true, yeah, but just the way that it happened was so like, oh my God, like there's piss like streaming onto my face
Here's a question
right
for you.
now.
You went to bed, like you said, like you were pretty hammered when you get to bed, or was it an instant sober up being pissed on?
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Okay.
Instantly.
Because I was like, 'cause sometimes when you wake up in the middle of the night, or it's like kind of when the alcohol almost left.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but you wake
yeah.
up and it's still like fucked up.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, this was.
No,
I am
when I tell you it was
so-
immediate, I mean like I woke up and like shot out of the bed and was like, "You fucking pissed on me!" like fucking yelling.
So fucked up.
And the air conditioner's fine?
Yeah, so he didn't actually pee on the air conditioner. That
I'm
was the
so
weird.
stoked about
That was
that.
the weird thing,
Yeah,
because
right.
in my head I was like, "Fuck, it's probably like a trail of piss from
It
the
looks
fucking
like a
AC."
urinal
or
too,
the-
like, but I don't have a
It's just
urinal.
like
Yeah.
piss in the little
the
water
house.
tray at the bottom.
Yeah, totally.
but I caught him. I caught him before he fucking pissed on the AC. But
Keep some clothespins beside the bed.
Yeah.
I just need to drink responsibly is what it's coming down to, and just like know the limit and kind of play within it. Like I knew what I was going to get into that evening, and I knew that what we were going to get up to, like maybe a nap and you know what I mean, a plate of food or something like that. I don't know, or just like, you know, cut it off. At some
It's
fucking
weird.
point.
It's not like you've been doing material over the last like months now about like how your body's breaking down and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's weird.
yeah. Yeah.
Totally weird that you just pissed
Yeah.
yourself.
That's why I say it's just kind of wild too, because we were like coming over here and we were just like laughing, and I was like, well, like I mean, I do apologize, but like at the same time, like we're gonna squeeze a few minutes out of this each, I imagine. Like,
Yeah.
this is money in the bank.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, we were like this morning. He was like, "Oh, like yeah, like I didn't eat at all last night," which also isn't true. You made us gnocchis before you left. We had a full dinner.
Oh,
Like,
decent.
yeah,
Decent.
yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, but then you're like, yeah, like didn't really eat anything, like had so many beers. I was like, oh, I'm well aware of the amount of liquid that was in your system.
Kid was fulled up, you know what I mean?
So funny. The glass of water is so great too. You're like, really, this motherfucker?
Yeah, and then the fucking thumbs up.
The
Because I was
thumbs up
just
is-
staring at
that's
you, and you
awesome.
like didn't know why I was staring at you, so you just hit me with a fucking thumbs up.
Thumbs up rules so hard, I stand by it. You know what I mean? I'm so glad that I don't remember doing it, but I would probably just thought that you were kind of like giving me a look like you're gonna be okay, kind of thing or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, we're gonna get through this. And you know what I mean? One step at a time. Honestly, you know, like the joys, like there's not a whole lot of people out there that have like pissed on their girlfriend, but I guarantee that like all of them remember it except for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a bummer, right? Like, so like this is all, and this is just alleged, right? Like, what if she went to bed drunk and actually peed the bed and she's just blaming this on me?
No, we're
Oh.
we're 100%.
I think
Okay.
we
Yeah,
can
there's not
safely
a
rule
single
that
viewer
out.
out there
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, there's no conspiracy here.
But
This is
no,
all right.
absolutely not.
All right. I'm just gonna take this
Evidenced
one.
by
on
the fact that you slept in your own puddle of piss.
Yeah. Guess I just gotta be like, Jackie, and take this one on the chin, you know? Hey.
Oh yeah, well I took it on the cheek. That's what I
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so fucked up.
It's like one of those things, like I'm never gonna forget that feeling of like waking up to like piss streaming on my
So gnarly.
You're right, Jackie. You won't. I can't wait till Jackie. It's like it's her 96th birthday. Like, Jackie, is there anything that you wanted to share with these great granddaughters or whatever? I remember Johnny DeVito, God rest his soul, pissed on my face.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What if this is like some kind of form of like shock therapy, like in a situation where you know, you want to like throw somebody right into the fire in a sense of like getting if you want to like conquer your fear heights or something like that, we're just gonna have to like, you know, take you up there. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff or whatever. So like, what if we could progress, you know what I mean, bedroom activities, and this is just like the first step of us just maybe finding like
the first step is a tarp.
Yeah.
That we can be into.
This is step one.
Hey,
Look,
this is.
I
mean,
can say, look, we've tried it out now, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it will not be a round dub.
this could have been the wildest origin story. Like,
yeah, imagine.
That
I
would be, yeah,
woke
you're
up like,
super into
hey,
it.
that's not too bad. I just turn around and face it.
Just fucking just showering in it.
if
Using it think like it's one of those old people showers. You're fucking. Get the bottom of the feet.
It's not long enough to move around, but I mean, there's enough maneuverability. I don't understand, like the side. Like it was just like aiming up at your head.
It was like.
And was I butt naked? Like, am I pissing through my boxers?
You had like moved down your fucking boxers.
I pulled my boxers
you pulled
down
your boxers
to
down.
piss the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there you go.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it was insane.
This is a new development to the story that I had no idea, because that makes it so much weirder.
Right? And you're like, I can't piss my boxers. I'm not a fucking animal. I'm gonna pull them down and fucking arc it up. So it goes
like holding my dick, pissing on you.
I don't know if you were holding
crazy.
it, but you must have been, right?
Because
If
I'm like
it was
pointing it up over
Yeah.
Was was there some sort of ricochet splash sort of situation?
Yeah, or in my head, it's like a garden hose scenario, you know,
like,
where
all over.
yeah, or like when you put like your thumb over it, and it's just like
okay, yeah.
But it was more of like
Thought
it was like
a
a solid stream hitting me. It wasn't like splattered.
it
was
like
like.
it looked like backdraft, like
Yeah.
bladder 49 over there. Waving in the wind.
God,
I always wanted to be a fireman. You know,
so funny.
Basically, just like what what it comes down to at the end of the day, you know, is that we're gonna learn from this. We're gonna come back next season. You know what I mean? Stronger, retool. You know, and go for the gold. I feel like we really have what it takes.
Give
this
it worse.
season.
At least seem to have like, you know, a side of asparagus with that gnocchi earlier.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, and it was so funny because it was just this weird like state you were in where you were like up and like moving, but obviously not really awake. And like at one point when I was fucking dragging you like from the AC to the bathroom, like gnocchi is like darting around like, what the fuck is going on? And you're like, it's okay, gnocchi, or whatever.
Daddy's
Daddy's little girl
it's
right
okay
there.
right now.
You can have a talk with her the next day.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I know you saw some things last night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Daddy's not
gnocchi
proud.
was like looking
No,
at him today
she's
like,
looking at me
what
weird.
the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
So funny.
You know, normally she likes to, you know, sleep by the feet, but probably
anymore.
not when it's
Yeah.
covered in piss. And like it's just, you know what I mean, it's a bummer. I don't know, I didn't feel like that like wet or sticky or anything like when I woke up, but when she told me what
Because
happened,
this happened at like fucking 5:30 a.m. and you slept until 9. Like it fucking
5 hours, 4 hours solid piss soaked nap. You know, I woke up like feeling pretty decent. But the shower, like, I don't know if this is rock bottom. You know what I mean? But it's not a good place to be.
It's not the tippity top.
definitely
Sure
getting
ain't-
there.
Sure
Yeah.
ain't the top, buddy.
Yeah.
Sure ain't the top, you know?
Oh my God.
But oh, how the mighty have fallen, and everybody loves a redemption story. You know what I mean? So let's just see how the kid bounces back from this. And
Yeah, stay tuned. That's
man, really front loaded this episode. Jesus
I was gonna
Christ.
say,
We
where do we
waited.
go from here?
I'm glad that that was great.
We have we have a couple blind spots, but these seem pretty elementary now.
Elementary.
One that we were laughing pretty hard about yesterday while we were listening to this music pre-piss. Again, we were laughing pretty hard that you thought, Jonny, I put on a fucking Kryptonite by 3 Doors Down.
Great.
Classic.
And Jonny goes, fuck yeah, like 3 Days Grace. He thought that 3 Doors
Sure.
Down and
Is it
3
Sloan?
Days Grace.
What are we doing?
This is a
He
Sloan
thought
situation.
they were the same band.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did, and we had this kind of cute moment where, like, you know, like that's where we intersect. Is that like 3 Days Grace
Oh, yeah,
and
we
Three
had
Doors
both
There is a
good.
couple bands like that somehow, I don't know why, sometimes when they just merge for some reason and you're like, why? These bands have nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
Counting
Yeah.
Crows and Collective Soul.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
man.
like, I can't really remember who does
Distinguish
what
which
exact
one.
song.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, I can
put
see
a Counting
that.
Crows-
Sometimes Goo Goo Dolls and Matchbox 20 are
Okay, yeah.
kind of like a,
Sure.
I don't know why, yeah.
Yeah, we put on I put on Mr. Jones by Counting Crows, and that music video is hilarious. 'Cause
Yeah.
the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
front guy with his dreadlocks, and the whole time it's just him jamming out to this song. Like the
Yeah.
whole music video is him like
In like
Yeah.
a leather
Mr.
tassel
Jones.
coat that
Yeah.
just
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of this like sepia tone almost.
Yeah, and
kind
they're
of
in
like
that
a lot of
fucking,
clay looking shit.
Yeah, and they're in this like apartment or whatever, and
Yeah.
like we notice this. There's so much crossover in like these like early 2000s like rock music videos. So many of them, the band is like just playing in an empty apartment that has like the same kind of design, like the kind of like cutout window.
Yeah, like
if
if Rachel and Monica moved out of their
Exactly.
place, it would
Yeah,
just be that.
exactly.
There's probably one of those old
Yeah.
elevators.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
Counting
Loft,
Crows.
a great
Just
loft.
like-
Who doesn't love a
yeah.
loft?
Right from Counting Crows, Mr. Jones, all the way to like to Gob for the moment. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's all the same
man.
fucking apartment.
Yeah.
It's
Fuck yeah,
unreal.
Gob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
dude.
got into some fucking bangers.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were fucking. It started with I put on because I've been doing a One Tree Hill rewatch, and I've kind of pulled Jonny into it.
Oh yeah, I watched
Um,
it years ago. Like when I was in like high school, got roped into watching a few of it. Fell in love with the show. Never came back to revisit. So I'm remembering all this stuff.
Yeah, it's been a fun time actually, and they have the three girls. The three main girls on it have a rewatch podcast, so I've been getting really into it. And anyways, and so we have a lot of fun singing the theme song.
I don't
Yeah.
wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately.
Yeah.
Good jam.
Yeah.
tune.
And so I had put that song on when we were driving home from the liquor store. And then I brought up, cause you were asking like, he must have gotten like paid well for the use of that song or whatever. And I was talking about how he was like, he had went on the show and they like went on tour. They did like a One Tree Hill tour with Michelle Branch.
Hard.
Yeah, and you were like, who's Michelle Branch? And then I was like, what? And then I was we were sitting in the car parked outside of our place, and I was just like playing Michelle Branch songs, and you're like, oh yeah. And then
I was
that's when-
behind
yeah.
Redgate last night, just singing Michelle Branch at in the smoke pit in between bands. It was awesome. Fucking,
Yeah.
what's the song? 'Cause you're
Yeah.
everywhere to
to
me.
me.
And then some kids, like this all ages show, so like the kids were like sitting like down on the road or whatever. So like a couple of like the younger ones or whatever started singing. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, man,
It's
that
good-
was
it
a
was a good time.
good early 2000s, a good era for music. I mean, fuck, there's so many classics.
I was
you
saying,
gotta
I probably
see.
checked out around 2010.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yeah.
I feel like I kind of did, like,
Yeah.
a little bit of shit that I know, but
Yeah.
that early 2000s.
I think so,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
2000 to 2009 basically is
Yeah.
the era
Yeah.
that we were like getting deep into last night. Fucking All American Rejects. They had so many hits.
Great
Oh
videos,
my
just
God,
fantastic.
yeah.
That's the other thing, too. The videos of that time
So
are
fun.
unbelievable.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were looking into oh, actually no, the funniest thing, Ty, Jackie pulls up a video by an artist I'm not familiar with, who is the first live act she ever saw opening for Avril
Oh
Lavigne.
yeah. Do you know Butch Walker?
I remember a Butch Walker for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
He was
This-
very early 2000s. And
Yeah.
my first concert for Avril Lavigne, he opened for her. So he was technically the first, person I ever saw live
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So we watch a video that she's hasn't seen the video before, but we're she's just gonna show me like the dude's tunes, right? So we'll play the YouTube hit, and oh my god,
It was weird because it was like some random YouTube account had posted it and it wasn't on his YouTube account. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this is a legit video because his YouTube account hasn't posted it anywhere. It's
he'd be
just this
smart to take it
random.
down.
Yeah, and it became very clear why he had not posted this video.
This fucking guy, it's like a breakup song or whatever, or like he misses his lady, so his
sits
girl
on a
is
cup.
sleeping in her bedroom, and it looks like it's before like a wedding or something like that. The dress is there. There's you can see like a picture of her and like a different guy. She's got the ring on, all that stuff. And then the window opens, and this guy just like creeps in
through the window
to the room and is like doing the whole song, just like taking photos.
Yeah,
of
has
her.
a Polaroid, taking Polaroids of her.
Never want to see a Polaroid camera.
And not only
That's
that,
never a
Ty,
good
Right.
thing.
then he breaks out his scrapbook and he's flipping through the scrapbook
And
like on
putting
the floor while she's
photos
sleeping,
in the
and then putting
fucking-
the photos in the fucking scrapbook. It's the
scrapbooking.
creepiest fucking video that you've ever seen.
Well,
People are
there's only
laughing so hard.
One video that is similar to this that will is probably not a good video to put on if you're like trying to introduce someone to fucking Tom Petty is Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Oh
Really?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if you remember that video. Oh, but
Yeah.
it's a dead woman, and he's just like
Yeah.
he like brings her to a fucking dinner and like
Yeah.
dolls her up
Just weekend
like
at Bernie's.
Yeah. So that
put
fucking
lipstick on her, and he's like dancing with her. She just fucking.
I always thought that song was
Fucking-
about, like, I'm quitting smoking weed, but this is gonna be my last joint or something like that. That's what I always thought when I was a kid. But I never really like looked into
No,
it.
they
Yeah.
take this very
That-
literally in the video.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
that I will fucking Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers had some great music videos.
Oh, for
like
sure.
they
Yeah,
had
yeah.
fun with it because they were that era of like they were like the MTV era or whatever,
like
where
the
music
first era of
videos were
MTV,
like
yeah.
were big for the first time. So they had some fun with.
I
them,
don't remember
yeah.
watching any of that stuff. Like I always thought that like any like older band, I guess like in like the 90s, 2000s or whatever, but like anything that like my parents were listening to, like didn't have like there's a Def Leppard video that's just very like I fucking hit me like a bomb, baby, come and get it on. Fucking
yeah.
Portia
Yeah.
Robbie or whatever.
Yeah.
That video is like pretty like archaic, you know what I mean? Same thing with like AC/DC's Thunderstruck and stuff. It's basically like a like almost like live concert footage. With
Yeah.
like maybe like one-
Thunderstruck's got that great underneath shot of the floor. He's on a clear
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, dude.
You get to see to do the duck walk. Oh.
Right? You know what I
Good
mean? So like
time.
so a lot of it kind of felt like stadium-ish or whatever, right? So I didn't really I never huge blind spot. I guess it's like any 1980s music.
You know
video, like-
what I did watch recently, just speaking of those stadium kind of things, is when Pink Floyd went the opposite of that, when people were kind of doing something like stadium
Yeah.
things, and they go to Pompeii. Have you ever seen Pink Floyd live at Pompeii?
No.
It's fucking insane, dude. They just bring it's all it is just Pink Floyd and the
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
No audience, there's no nothing, and they're like in
Oh,
like
wow.
the pit of like where people like I don't know fought and shit or whatever the fuck they did there. I don't know.
All right.
And it's just like skeletons and like crazy shit in the rocks.
That's
and they
where
play
the-
echoes for like 24 minutes. And
Oh.
it's so good. Yeah.
That's insane.
Isn't the, Pompeii is where the volcanic
Yeah,
eruption
that's
was,
right,
and
yeah.
so they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like
yeah.
all those like the bodies and stuff of people that were just like
Getting
basically
Oh, yeah.
fossilized
Yeah.
almost with like the volcanic.
That's what it is. They're in this
like-
like kind of like
Yeah.
Coliseum-y looking kind of like pit thing with
yeah.
all that shit around
Yeah.
them. It's so fucking good.
Mount Vesuvius, you know, it's so hot their brains turn to glass. Some of these fucking people,
That's
like, it's
insane.
insane.
Yeah.
That's so goddamn crazy. Pink Floyd also has like I think it's live in Berlin. They do the Wall, and they
The wall slowly breaks down. over
yeah,
the show.
right. So yeah, they have like a crane set up, and they're actually building a wall in front of the band.
Right,
as
that's
they're
what it is.
playing
They
and
break- yeah.
stuff, and then they fucking
Yeah.
break down. They have like a lot of like weird shit too. You know, in the movie, like whoever I think like the character's name is Pink or whatever in the wall, and it always
Yeah.
goes back to the hotel room. There's like an actor in a hotel room and stuff, and it's kind of like freaking out, like kind of plays like the whole. It's fucking unbelievable. Like
Yeah,
it
they have
follows the-
crazy fucking
You
live
know what I
shows.
mean? And all the way to like tear down the wall, and you know what I mean? It was pretty. I watched it on mushrooms when I was in high school, and it's like it's
That's this Pompeii one was like I remember when we got a hold of this in high school. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this is fucking wild. But I just hadn't seen some of it for so long. I just came across the other day. I was like, this is Echoes is such a great song too.
I think that was the
So
thing, like
long.
live DVD days. Like when I would go to,
Yeah,
like,
that's how I
I
know
have so
Sling
many of them.
Castle. Like
Hell
that's
yeah.
how I know
Yeah,
like all those.
I was big and I still am like but as a kid when the live like concert DVDs were huge. I
Yeah.
still have a lot of them. Like the fucking Shania Twain live is amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously
Fucking-
Slane Castle. But yeah, we had tons of them.
Oh yeah, there's a great
yeah.
like Metallica binge and
Ricky
purge
Martin.
if you're into Metallica. I think it's an overload, but it's it's a box set with like 3 different ones. I think it's like Mexico City and Seattle and a different city or whatever. But like you know what I mean, fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Or like Flight 666, the fucking Iron Maiden. It's like a fucking
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Dawson
yeah, yeah.
Miner
Yeah.
stuff. Fucking so cool.
Yeah. So like on the topic of music still, another blind spot that we were were discussing of yours this
Yep.
week was Rod Stewart.
Yeah, so if you guys want to listen to like podcasts that are like heavily about music, I think I've mentioned No Dogs in Space before. If I haven't, then go check it out if you're into early punk and stuff like that. They do like tremendous deep dives, a lot of research that we refuse to do on this show.
Yep.
So listening to an episode that they have of the Replacements, and they're just kind of they do like 5 parts of these things, right? So like an hour and a half each episode. It's a lot of information. But if you're a fucking geek, which you probably are if you're listening to this fucking show, check that shit out. And the Replacements basically talking about all like the early influences that these guys had, kind of starting from classic rock, and then like the punk thing is happening and stuff like that in the 70s, like kind of there. Seeing it all from the Midwest and whatnot, and they're talking about Rod Stewart being a heavy influence to these guys, and they're just playing jams that fucking sound awesome, and I'm just like, fucking Rod Stewart, huh? Like if you want my body,
yeah,
and
dude.
you
If
think
you
of
only identify with like what your grandma likes,
Yeah.
Rod Stewart, you were like
I had
You're
severely
missing
missing
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and then so I just figured like you know what I mean. We love each other. We all love music. We have a group chat that you know what I mean. This is where this kind of comes up, and I'm just like, hey man, Rod Stewart's okay. And then Jackie, I'll let you take it away.
Well, yeah, and then I simply responded with a link to our own podcast, episode 19, I believe it was, where we did a Faces album and discussed Rod Stewart extensively.
Yeah,
like
and
And
early
Ronnie Wood,
days,
right? Like it's
Yeah.
fucking you get
early
Ronnie
days
Wood
Rod
with-
Stewart. Yeah,
which
exactly.
is
And
like
I
his
remember.
brother who plays with the Stones.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
And I kept and that was basically my like my thesis of that podcast, if you will, was like when Rod Stewart was still like fucking Rod Stewart,
The rock
whatever.
guy, the Maggie made it.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's like an hour of us
But
talking
let's not
about Rod
sleep
Stewart.
on the like soulful like
Mm-hmm.
dude, Downtown Train is like fucking. There's his greatest hits album of the.
Yeah.
He's wearing a pink shirt and it's
Yeah.
like a pink background, but it's a different pink.
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
bad. Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
fucking a bad photo all around.
That's hilarious.
That album played. That was definitely in the 7-disc changer.
Yeah.
Like there was
That's-
my mom
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's classic,
We got
yeah.
Andrea Bocelli. We got some Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Shania's probably in there.
course.
You bet your sweet ass Rod Stewart's in it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
You know,
talk
in,
about it.
for,
Oh man.
in my mom's theoretical 7-disc changer, another one that would be in there that we also got into yesterday would be Alanis Morissette, Jagged
Oh,
Little
of
Pill.
course. Jagged
Oh
Little
my
Pill's a great
god,
album, yeah.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
fucking got into that last
We
night.
were having a good
Yeah.
laugh. We were having a good
so
laugh.
good.
Yeah, at like how specific that is.
Great
It's-
videos.
Great videos, but
Great
then
videos.
there's for which one was it? Which one were we, You Ought to Know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Johnny was like, and so it's like her, and she's like in a desert or whatever, and has like a suitcase. And then she's like walking, gets to a meadow, gets to her band and shit. And anyways, she's like walking in the desert, and Johnny's like, this kind of has like Shania Twain vibes. And I was like, you mean a woman walking in the desert with luggage?
That don't impress me much.
The
Same
exact
video.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, which is pretty good. But I was also thinking that like how many it's Dave
What is that, a
Coulier.
scarf?
Fucking Dave goddamn Coulier, Full House, Uncle fucking damn.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? That fucking guy gets blown in a movie theater. How many girls have been like reluctantly almost like, do you want to be as cool as Alanis Morissette? Has been kind of like suckered in to giving a guy a blowy in a movie theater because of that song. Dave
Yeah.
Coulier did that. Dave Coulier is responsible for more movie theater
guy who does,
blowjobs
like,
than
the
anybody else,
Jerk voice.
which is insane. You know what I mean? The puppet guy from Full House, which
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean? Which is pretty cool. Some people have strange claims to fame.
Strange claims to fame.
Yeah. I said it. I stand by it.
Okay, we have a fun story to get into quickly before we do the record. So I'm sure most of you have probably seen this story going around. Japanese man spends over $14,000 to transform into a dog. So in a unique and unexpected turn of events, a Japanese man has undergone an extraordinary transformation into a dog. As reported by the New York Post, Toko, the private citizen behind this remarkable change, invested over $14,000 in a custom-made collie costume to actualize his dream of becoming an animal. So first of all, I love how this story has been Like the hook of the story is this man spends his money to transform into a dog, but all it is that he had just bought an extremely expensive dog costume.
Yes.
Yeah, the transformation I think is weird. It's a little
Yeah.
misleading in the sense because like I thought that he was gonna go for like full on surgery.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah, that's
episode
what
of-
it made
yeah.
it seem like.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that episode
yeah.
of South Park where they'll do like any kind of plastic surgery and they'll do so Kyle goes in and he wants to be a basketball player and they just turn him into like a 6 foot
yeah.
tall black guy and they put Mr. Garrison's testicles in his knees. It's
Yeah.
classic. So like he can't actually play basketball. We just made you look like you can play basketball.
Right.
And then
yeah.
his dad turns into a dolphin.
Yes,
He's just like always
I
wanted
remember
to be.
this
Yeah, right.
episode,
Do you
yeah.
have a saltwater seating for dolphins?
Yeah.
Fucking classic, right? So if you're gonna spend $14,000, like how far, like do you remember Ripley's Believe It or Not, like where there was like
course.
Lizard Lady or whatever,
Yeah.
like people that would go through like
Yeah, like
such,
dude with the horns and he had
Yeah.
the puzzle face.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
Such
and
extreme body
there's the cat
modifications that
lady, you know,
Yep.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
with like whiskers and stuff like that. You can
Yeah.
put yourself through so many modifications to become something, but it's half stepping. I feel, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? To just buy a suit-
I won't even give him half. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you,
No
I'm
shit.
quite disappointed with this Togo.
Yeah, you're
all
just-
around. The story's been out for a minute now, but
Yeah.
like, it's not that great of a costume even for $14,000. It's
Right?
Like, here's
Yeah.
the deal, and this is what I'm going to say about if you wanted to be a dog that bad,
Mm-hmm.
don't you think that you'd have the movement down a little better, or like?
Right?
Yeah, his
Guy's
the seat-
awful.
Yeah, the sitting
Yeah.
down or whatever. That's just a dude in a
And he
in a
picked
dog
a
costume.
fucking lassie, like he picked a
Yeah,
stupid
like
dog
why
to
do
do it
a
with.
border
Yeah.
collie? Yeah, it's so weird
What are we
and like
talking about?
It's like cheating too because it's a longer, shaggier dog or whatever, so it's gonna throw people off how shitty the
Exactly,
fucking
yeah.
$14,000 costume.
yeah, you're
actually
not
is.
doing like a svelte like a fucking greyhound or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, he's not
Yeah.
chasing a rabbit down a track.
No
yeah,
shit, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, okay, guys, let's get to brass tacks here. Let's be
Okay.
serious about this. Is
Yeah.
like anybody could fuck a dog, like any guy. You know what I mean? Could fuck a dog, but like it'd probably be hard to get a dog to fuck you. So did this guy pay $14,000 to try to get fucked by a dog? Is that what I'm
Oh,
thinking too? Like that's like
God.
do you, there's you guys aren't thinking anything sexual in nature about this? This guy
There's
just
gotta be
wants to
something
a
weird
dog.
behind it,
Yeah, I
for
mean, I
sure.
guess there's gotta be. I
But
mean,
even
obviously
like
there's
the
something weird
proportions
going on,
looked
yeah.
even wrong. Like I was like, he's
Yeah,
he's
Yeah.
a very large man underneath.
no
his dog,
self-respecting.
I'll be
dog.
honest with
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
I've
self-respecting
never seen a
dog's
fucking
gonna
lassie
hit
that big. Jesus, that lassie got a fucking.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you love
$14,000
yourself,
isn't that much money to be spending. Like furry, like really good furry costumes are like $5,000. I think. Like
Yeah,
they're, like,
yeah.
anywhere it's like upwards of $3,000. I think.
Ty, there's a whole world of people that make superhero costumes, and I would be, lying if I said I haven't looked at Batman suits a lot of times.
I looked at Daft Punk helmets
and
so much,
dude. Fuck
and they're
yeah,
like
rules.
thousands of dollars.
Right,
They're
Yeah.
so like,
cool.
and you can go from like, I mean, you can spend a couple bucks at like a fucking Spirit Halloween, like Adam West style shitty Batman suit, all the way up to thousands of dollars Christian Bale fucking exact replica, from Dark Knight. But
Which I watched the other day, actually. I just
Oh,
put it on.
nice.
And I was like, yeah, this is great.
Holds
It's so funny how there's a lot of like nothing makes sense in it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you're like, it doesn't matter. Everyone's performance
So
is so
well,
cool.
it's perfect, and
I
it's
don't
the
care.
best superhero movie because it's not like the formula for bad movies is like I'm a sucker for it. I've told you guys
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking cry at every Marvel movie because I give a shit about these characters. I'm invested in here. I've been here for years, and I know what's gonna happen. But like they always just tug on your heartstrings. Exactly. Like we've been to school. Like I know how. I know what they're doing, you know what I mean, and I can see it coming from a mile away, and it still gets me every time, and I absolutely love it.
And
I'm an emotional
quick,
boy.
quick aside here is that you were talking about this in the group chat last night, and so when I was awoken this morning and couldn't get back to sleep, I was catching up on the group chat messages that were being sent at like 3 a.m. And Jonny sends a message like, "Yeah, like."
I really got to pee.
Yeah, yeah. And he goes, yeah, like, Jackie's like seen me cry during these movies. It's so embarrassing. And I'm just sitting there, I was like, you had no idea what was coming.
Yeah. That's the least of my worries now. I just
So good.
Just put on,
That's pretty low down the list now, is
yeah,
crying during Marvel
exactly.
movies.
Captain America and the Winter Soldier got me no more than 2 days ago. But
I feel like this guy's getting too much of a big deal about this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I don't
really not
understand.
that good. The claws on like
Yeah.
it
I
doesn't
think
look
the
good.
reason
Yeah.
why it became a big story is because of the way they worded it.
Yeah.
Made it sound like he had gotten surgery
Yeah.
to like
Exactly.
look like this.
It's like
So
he's
they-
still going to work without the dog
exactly, and so
costume
that's
on.
the other thing is
Yeah,
that it
dude.
says the way it's like he. Recounting his childhood aspirations, Toko shared how he had always dreamt of being an animal, considering it an unrealistic desire. I remember writing in my grade school graduation book that I wanted to be a dog and walk outside, he confessed, which you can walk outside if you're not a dog.
Pat, a lot of times the
Yeah.
people are the ones taking the dog on the walk.
Yeah.
The ones that are telling the dog, "Hey, you want to go for a walk?"
Yeah. As the journey of this extraordinary man continues, it raises questions about the complexities of human desires and dreams. Despite societal norms, Toko has fearlessly embraced this unconventional path, proving that dreams can indeed lead to fascinating and unexpected destinations. So his dream is of being a dog, but this costume does not achieve that dream. He's
Not
just
at
a
all.
man who dresses up as a dog sometimes and then still has to work his 9 to 5 during the
Creeping
week.
everybody out of the dog park too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if that guy shows up to a dog
Yeah.
park, he's probably gonna get punched in the face. Like,
Oh,
that's just,
big time.
there's something
Right in his
weird
big
about it.
stupid lassie face.
Yeah,
dude.
he's gonna get pissed on once or
Yeah.
twice. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was like. I was gonna bring that up. Like, it's like if he has somebody in his life that would like walk him, and you know what I mean, babe. Like, you put up with a lot of my bullshit. You know what I mean, right? Some might say that too much. As in the past 12 hours.
Yeah,
But-
it's been less than 12
Yeah, you still
hours.
got 12 to do some damage,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just honestly want
I
to sleep
can
the rest of the day
still
away, so like I just
smell
don't
it.
have to live it out. Like I just, you know what I mean? It's
Oh, yeah, fresh sheets.
it just
so.
is what it is. The set
Yeah,
tonight, like
yeah.
I'm so excited to do comedy tonight because like just yeah, it's gonna be piss riff city. Let me tell you.
Piss Riff City.
But you know, we'll work on it. But I think that like at some point, like tastes kind of like you know they might change or whatever. Certain desires might grow over time. You know what I mean, right? And if we've decided to spend this life together with me, like at what point do you draw the line where I start just being Batman? Like I buy the suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm invested in fighting crime. I get a butler that we can't
Well,
afford.
let's
Yeah.
try not to piss the bed first.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I feel like you got a couple other things to
A couple hurdles
accomplish
before
you get to
we just give you
Batman
the key- we
status.
give you the key
yeah,
to the
the key to
Batmobile.
the city. Yeah,
yeah. Before any meetings with the mayor
yeah,
happen.
but I feel like we
Yeah,
got
I
a
guess,
few
actually.
a few basics
He's
to
Batman,
cover
he's being
first.
If I'm trying
Joker?
to be Batman.
Yeah.
No, I need to be, I need to be, I need to be honest. I need to be honest with myself right now as I'm in no
Yeah, I feel like we got to master brushing teeth once a day before we get to Batman.
Alfred,
Alfred, I'm giving me this special diaper. I'm gonna be all night drinking. I'm really need to piss myself.
diaper's not gonna matter, dude. I'm just gonna pull my dick out.
Yeah, exactly. The diaper
In
is
the-
completely.
That's the weirdest way to do
Yeah,
it, man.
so that was because again, like when you walk to the AC, you would again like put down your fucking boxers. Like you were very concerned with not pissing in your boxers.
I don't know what that is, but there's something.
That's just like you think you're
that's-
going to the
it's just
bathroom
something
in whatever.
inside.
That's
Exactly,
what all
like
that is,
in
yeah.
his like
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
it,
you're a
whatever.
gentleman.
I shit
Yeah.
myself in an elevator one time when I was like concussed and like and inebriated beyond all belief. But I fell down drunk and my buddy just kind of left me in his apartment and I got locked out of the apartment and went into the elevator and
I know this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I
Friends
think
of the
our,
podcast. I probably told it here too many
I
times.
think our listeners have heard it a
But
couple
I
times.
did that same thing too. Like I didn't shit myself in that elevator. I shit in the elevator. Like I kind of dropped out and then passed out with the
Yeah.
pants down my
That's a good
ankles
time.
or whatever. But like, what is it about taking a shit that makes you pass out immediately after? That's just there's got to be there's something to that. There's a lot of science here that we really need to get into. I don't think that we just need to. We shouldn't just.
Oh,
leave
I
this
did
on the
some
table.
Googling afterwards. Like, what the fuck is wrong with my boyfriend?
Number one.
Yeah.
Did you type in W on your Google Play?
Just come up
the
with
fuck
clips
is
of my act like you know what
Yeah.
the fuck is wrong with me. I'm a fucking idiot, man. At the end of the day, like what it comes down to is, big changes are on the horizon for the kid, and I'm afraid to get started. But like, I mean, there's no better time than now.
Yeah, it's gonna have to start pretty soon. There's no, there's no pissing on me a second time.
This ain't
Not
baseball,
gonna be quite
kids.
as
That's
cool.
no. I thought I had at least 2-3 more pisses in me. But
Well, we were talking about live concert DVDs, which kind of links into this album that we're doing today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, we have picked quite a good one. The band. Yeah, this is their second album. This came out in 1969, September 22nd.
Nice.
Unbelievable band. They're like the best band that was there. They're very appropriately named.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wanted to pick this record. Robbie Robertson has just passed away. An absolute fucking legend as far as music is concerned. And when you look back at the lineage of him and then the rest of the group, it's insane. It's like it's literally like a novel of rock and roll of who they were with. I once read this book I'm probably mentioned on here called Nevermind the Polacks, and it's like this guy Neil Polak who like writes some of these books, and he did one on English lit and he did one on rock and roll where he puts himself in every. Elvis is his next door neighbor, and he teaches Elvis how to play guitar. He discovers Kurt Cobain underneath the bridge.
No shit.
Like, it's like this. So he kind of puts it's like a fictional. Historical timeline of rock and roll
kind of thing.
It's cool. Like, there's great Bowie shit in it and all sorts of great. Like,
what if I taught every single
it's
legendary music?
It's so funny. Like, it's such a ridiculous concept.
It's like
and the English lit ones really fight too because it's like Shakespeare. He's like, this whole
let me
thing.
insert myself.
It's what I would do if I was 12 years old. If I'm gonna like tell somebody a story or whatever, I'm gonna bump the facts up a little bit. Like, I'm gonna make myself sound a little bit cooler. You know what I mean? Because like you're nobody's fact checking your credits. You know when you're when you're that age, but like for professor of the English language to do that fucking rules.
So a couple things we're noting with this album. One, it's their sophomore album. There's a great history within. We've noticed on this podcast of like, man, those fucking second albums sometimes are just so
good.
Goddamn good. This is basically a greatest hits of the band. We've got amazing songs there. Across the Great Divide, The Night They Drove a Dixie Down, Rag Mama Rag. There's like, it goes on and on and on. It's really, really good. Everyone in the band, other than the drummer, Levon Helm, is Canadian, which is worth noting.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
And it's kind of weird because they've written some of the most Americana songs.
Totally.
Like The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down is, the Civil War song about the South still being the South and all this shit. And
What the fuck,
and it's like Robbie Robertson's the one who wrote the song,
Yeah.
which is
Saskatoon?
wild. But then
Like,
they're like,
what
let's get, for real. Like, somewhere in Ontario, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then Levon Helm is I think he's from Memphis or something like that.
Okay.
Or somewhere in the South. And so his voice is perfect for it because he still has the kind of the draw and all that stuff. An amazing drummer. But these guys start off, it's such an amazing story. They start off as Ronnie Hawkins' band, The Hawks, and like Screaming Ronnie Hawkins. Like, that's a rock and roll legend. It's, there's Little Richard, there's Ronnie Hawkins. It's like, it's crazy that they're this guy's backing band.
No shit.
And then Bob Dylan decides to go electric, and he hires them to be the band.
Yeah.
And like, so like, when he's getting like shit thrown at him in the UK, it's like
They're
on
shit.
stage, and they've seen way worse than that because it's like they had to play these crazy parts with Ronnie Hawkins all the time, like just these wild fucking times. But they just got so good. They're such a tight band, and they're all differently kind of trained. Garth Hudson, who's like the keys player in it, came up a classical pianist. His parents wouldn't let him play in the band. They were like, you can't play in this rock and roll band. Like, we're giving you these like, crazy good lessons, and you're not playing in a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
He had to convince his parents that he was giving them music lessons. So they had to pay Garth from like day one just to be in the band. Like, they'd all give him $5 or whatever it was kind of thing. Wow. Which is crazy. So just an amazing group. And then later in their career, like, they was only around for like 10 kind of years, it felt like. There was a lot of, fighting within, I think. They make The Last Waltz, which is like, if you haven't seen The Last Waltz, go watch it. Martin Scorsese directed it. And it's like the last concert that they do together. And the who's who shows up to this concert, and everybody is just blitzed out of their fucking mind.
Yeah.
There's the story of Neil, like they had to
The classic.
delay
Yeah,
the release of
that's
this
right.
movie
Yeah.
because Neil Young had a big coke rock in his nose.
And
I
this
mean,
was and this was on film too,
they had to,
so
like,
we had
so
to go
many- yeah,
through
like,
and
scratch
scratch
it.
every single frame. And it's before digital editing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of what was it? I think like a lot of
It's like that's probably the least thing that would have given away how high he is on fucking coke.
Yeah.
Like he's just
Sure,
fucking
right?
up there, just fucking giving her.
Yeah.
But
Neil,
sometimes advancements happen because of that or whatever, right? So it just took, I mean,
There
one
you go.
guy's party, you know what I mean? Kind
Yeah.
of like
It's-
revolutionized, editing for its time.
It's beautifully shot. It's really cool.
It's
is.
so
And then,
cool.
like the live concert is so great. They do it in this old kind of, I can't remember where it is in San Francisco, but it's like, this big chandelier and there's people actually like waltzing and stuff at the
Yeah.
beginning. It's kind of cool. But then they also do these like on location shots too that are for a couple songs in it that are like, that's really when it's like all this great painting and dolly work with old cameras that you just don't really get to see anymore.
Yeah. I mean, especially for like a live like concert film or whatever. I mean, this is kind of like unbeatable, The Last Waltz in that genre, because I wouldn't even say it's in that genre because obviously it's Scorsese and so it's more stylized. So it's not like the standard like concert film. It's just basically like, point and shoot. There's a couple different angles they cut in and
Yeah.
out or whatever, but this is like, it's a whole
There's great stories in between
Exactly,
the song,
yeah.
Robbie talking, and,
Yeah.
and great stories about like the guitar that he uses that night is this great Stratocaster that is like all metal, like it weighs like 40 pounds or something
Yeah.
stupid like that. Yeah. Just an unbelievable record. I'd really like I said, for me, it's like kind of a greatest hits. It falls into the same realm for me as like a Neil Young's Harvest or that kind of that era of just like really good songwriters and then really talented. Like there's so many talented people in this band.
Yeah, I thought I had like a general idea of like who they. I mean, like Jackie puts on a lot of, or I guess like a lot of classic rock or things like that I wouldn't normally listen to or whatever. But playing this morning, I had no idea who this was. You know what I mean? Like I haven't heard a lot of these songs or whatever. But would just blow your, what's the Civil War song that you mentioned or whatever?
The night they drove.
Song
Yeah.
fucking rules, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of really cool shit on here that was like it's surprising. I thought it was gonna be more like the Who or some shit like that or whatever. You know what I mean? You just kind
Yeah.
of get that idea in your head or whatever, but it's fucking like super rad and definitely like worth listening. If you like that, like kind of like you were saying, like Americana or whatever. It
Super
has-
Americana
it has that
band, and
vibe for
they
sure.
execute it live as well as on the record, if not better.
Yeah, it definitely is like it's like nostalgic for me because obviously my dad, that's like his shit, right?
Yeah.
Is classic rock, and obviously being like a Bob Dylan fanatic, the band was definitely in the rotation as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, like I love this. This is like my favorite genre of music, you know. So yeah, it's a fucking awesome album.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
such a respected. They were such a respected group of dudes who played music together. Like that's why Bob got them. Like, oh,
Yeah.
these fucking guys are. This is the Ronnie Hawks. These are them. Like they're so good. Similar to a. There's these stories of these tightly grouped dudes who are just like these fucking monsters when they play together. Like Bootsy Collins' band's the same thing. When James Brown fires his band and hires these young fucking dudes, it's like Bootsy and all those guys together. So there's a couple stories of like this group, like the Funk Brothers for Motown, and the band is no exception. There's it's just wild. It's like this group of fucking Canadian
Absolute
dudes
killers,
are just playing.
Yeah.
They're like, who? Like it just doesn't make any kind
Yeah.
of sense. But then it's like, all right, it's that same time of the Neil Youngs and all
Yeah.
that shit. So it's
Yeah.
like it's cool that all this Canadian shit is happening. They're definitely one of those people that's like they're Canadian. Like you don't really.
Yeah,
Totally.
no
Yeah.
And then Robbie Robertson had a great career afterwards too. I mean, they all kind of put out different kinds of records after, but he's got Crazy River, and that's a banger as well. Kind of came out in the 80s. Yeah. It's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
album. I was
Yeah.
And the
sad to
rest
see
in
that
peace,
guy
too.
pass away, but
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
it was a fucking good album.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
We all die. If you haven't listened to this album, I recommend pissing on your girlfriend's face.
Yeah.
And then checking it
listening
out
to
and
it
just
in
say,
shame.
and
And
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, like, because you'll stare at the carpet and just think about your life, and You know what I mean? And all the changes that you need to make. So like it was, listening to it in that environment, dude, I'm never going to forget this album.
Yeah, similarly to how I'll never forget the feeling of piss on my face.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
Different takeaways from the day.
Yeah. Thanks for following.
To
Thanks for
lead
listening.
into such
Like
a
and
good album with
subscribe.
that horrific story.
Yeah,
but-
stay hydrated out there.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, drink responsibly. And thanks for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe, comment, follow us, all those good things. We'll talk.
Peace.
Peace.
We'll get you next time, Gadget.